The most underestimated tool of writing is silence. Silence. No music, no videos, no background noise. Just silence. We spend our days hiding from our thoughts, hiding from what may surface if we stay still for too long. If we let thoughts win. But as a writer, as a creative, you should be more fearful of when thoughts lose. Boredom, that destimulation, that is what sparks creativity. There's research that suggests when our minds are allowed to wander, when we aren't actively consuming something, the brain's default mode network becomes active. That's the part associated with imagination. Memory integration and creative insight. In other words, when you are doing nothing, that is when your brain is doing the most important work. And without this boredom, without letting our thoughts breathe freely and uninterrupted, we get blocked. As creatives, it is our jobs to document life, meaning that sometimes we have to step back and observe. The drama, the tropes, those may bring readers in, but it is the quiet moments that makes them stay, that makes them feel like the story in their hands is real. And here, I can say I speak from experience. I was born with these big, wide eyes. From the start, it felt like I'd seen the world so clearly, even if I wasn't ready to understand it. I saw it without why, without reason. I just watched. And I knew that one day it would all come together. And it did. Later in life, I understood why people smiled differently at times, why they kept closer to some than others, why a table was used or wasn't, why a necklace was worn so often, why an old pot made every dish taste better. Understanding came later, but I first needed to collect some pieces before I could even begin to construct the puzzle, before I could even imagine the whole picture. My writing gets this way as well. There are the big moments, the plot movers, the explosions, of course. But what readers come to me most with is the quiet moments. The moments that, if you miss it, you'll be fine. The story lives on. But if you catch it, it feels like a reward. It feels like the story will never die. I tell myself that every classic was once a contemporary. It helps me to write like I'm writing for the future and not just the now. One of the reasons I started writing is because I wanted this part of me, my words, to live on far beyond me. Anyways, the moments that captured the hearts of readers, the quiet conversations that mean more than it seems, this is what made people leave reviews. This is what kept them turning to the next page. It is a move that is advised against, but the entire chapter is just one conversation. Mostly one man, a side character, telling a story. You see, when dialogue runs long, you risk losing the engagement of a story. You risk the detrimental skimming, or worse, the page skip. But this move, this chapter, not only felt necessary, it felt right. So I published it this way. And this became people's favorite chapter of Act 1. And the character telling the story instantly became a favorite character amongst many. There are ways to get around this, ways to write out large pieces of dialogue without losing the environment in the story. I'll tell you about that in another video, but this chapter was quiet. Was filled with stillness. Was just 3 guys on a porch talking. It didn't change the story. But it changed the way readers and the characters themselves viewed the story. Moments of looking at stars, small glances, a dance, a smile, a moment of silence. These were the things that stuck with the readers. Not the shouting, not the fights, not even the kiss. But the quiet moments between. The moments that I feared having because I thought they made the story soft and still and slow. Yet for the few who read it, they couldn't put it down. And that I wasn't expecting. When I should have. I've always been a fan of the critically acclaimed category. The type that will watch a show solely for the cinematic qualities. I love books that I struggle to explain when people ask, what is it about? Because it wasn't really about anything. Yet, about everything. I love one season slice of life animes that hold on to moments of life and treat them as special as they should be. For crying out loud, one of my favorite movies as a kid was Spirit. Before the re-release that involved the unnecessary narration, when I'm sure the entire movie had about 20 lines of dialogue and was mostly just a silent film of a horse and a killer soundtrack and vibes. I was 5, 6, and loving it. I knew I loved these type of things. And I was pretty naive to believe I was the only one. When I am simply just one of few. But even the ones that do not gravitate towards the quietly powerful moments, they still stop to appreciate it. I mean, I'm sure there isn't a human alive who hasn't ever looked out at the ocean for the first time and stopped and thought to themselves, wow, the world is so much bigger than my eyes could ever see. It's the little things that take our breath away, which I really need to hear myself as I am drafting this next work. Thanks, RV. Back to the topic at hand. If you feel your own thoughts slipping, if the voices of others start to outweigh your own, or if you feel like your writing is just too tight with no room to breathe, perhaps you need just a little silence. Take a morning to yourself. Take a walk. Sit alone in a diner or a park and become an observer of life, not just a consumer.